I just discovered what's really going on, what's next for the Bitcoin price, sharing with you one video per day on crypto, keeping you informed. And today, the Bitcoin price crashing lower, now down about 10% from the golden cross that happened about 2 weeks ago. If you subscribe to Altcoin Daily, you are ready for this. We talked about the strong possibility of a crash happening after this golden cross. Something to think about now that we're about to hit this golden cross and we've only gone up into it. Now, maybe the golden cross happens tomorrow, the next day, but we don't get that stablecoin bill passage till Friday. Maybe a little blow off top into it and then a retest of that shorter term moving average. Checking back in today, 2 weeks later, Bitcoin has in fact corrected back down to that shorter term moving average in the yellow, the 50-day moving average, which right now is around $100,000 per coin, which is exactly where the price bounced off of. Should we expect lower? And what's really next for the Bitcoin price? Because the stablecoin bill, which we were waiting on 2 weeks ago, still hasn't happened yet. We are still waiting for the Senate to pass the stablecoin bill. The latest update being the Genius Act will likely get its full Senate vote now within 10 days. The reason that I bring this up is just like the expectation from a technical level. This was a technical major event, and we saw the price run up into it. The stablecoin bill is a much, much, much bigger fundamental major event for Bitcoin. Some say this is bigger than the ETFs, which got approved in 2024. The reason being is because stablecoins are on-ramps. Stablecoins are the on-ramps of cash into Bitcoin. And Bitwise CEO Hunter Horsley has such great perspective. Let me share this with you, then react.
Your CIO, Matt Hogan, he actually said that progress on the stablecoin bill could pave the way for a multi-year bull market in crypto. He added that outside of the January 2024 approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, this is the most important regulatory development in the history of crypto and may even be bigger. Do you agree with that assessment? How would you describe this all?
Absolutely. It's the biggest development. The ETFs were important. We launched a Bitcoin ETF, BITB, the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF in January of last year.
Right.
And that was hugely impactful because it allowed investors to participate in the opportunity set with the peace of mind of doing it from their brokerage account, through their financial advisor. And we've seen huge uptake for the most successful ETFs in the history of ETFs. ETFs have been around for 30 years. And these Bitcoin ETFs, launched in 2024, have blown away all prior records. And ours today is several billion in assets. So it's been extraordinary. And I do think that was a big development. But ultimately, the bigger picture is the regulatory environment. For 6 years, we've run a survey of financial advisors. And we've asked them your views on crypto and what you're doing in crypto. And one of the questions was, what prevents you from engaging in the space? And the number one answer for 6 years, back to 2019, was regulatory uncertainty. So it is the number one item that has been limiting the ability of investors to participate in the space, and it is now no longer a problem. It's being resolved very quickly. The SEC has taken rapid measures. The OCC published a tweet 2 weeks ago letting banks know that they're welcome to launch crypto services. That's the bank regulator, the OCC. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. So things don't change overnight. I don't mean to suggest that, by the end of June, the world will have changed. But I do think that the clear message that busy investors are absorbing right now is it's different now. Even though we've known about Bitcoin for a decade, something has changed this year. It is finally an addressable opportunity for us. So I would agree with Matt, who's very wise, and say I think this is maybe the most important development in a decade for Bitcoin.
So here's what's next for the Bitcoin price. And by the way, if you want to follow along, there's a link down below to exchange partner BitUnex. Anybody that wants VIP3 status for a month, be sure to join the trading competition and use code Altcoin Daily for up to $8,000 in trading bonuses. Link down below. But the stablecoin bill approval, which is likely to happen, will be major because just like the Bitcoin ETF approval back in January of 2024, nothing that big happened that day. In fact, we sort of dipped down into it. Buy the rumor, sell the news before, of course, this was a huge on-ramp for institutional players into Bitcoin, and price could only go in one direction given that demand. the stablecoin bill approval, like nothing major, will fundamentally happen that day. So in fact, the Bitcoin price could dip lower, right? We had a 10% dip to the 50-day moving average. Maybe we get a 15% dip. Takes us back down into the 90s. Again, anything above, I'd say $75,000 Bitcoin is a higher low. That's still the bullish trend upwards. But this stablecoin bill is going to allow financial institutions and banks to have the green light after 15 plus years of not having a green light to finally be allowed to interact. Senator Bill Hagerty gives his latest update on this bill today.
We have broad agreement, Kaylee, with respect to the content of this stablecoin legislation, My Genius Act. And this is going to, I think, take us into the 21st century in terms of upgrading our payment systems. It's going to have very desirable effects, taking the U.S. economy into the digital assets arena, keeping innovation here, lowering risk here in America, and putting in place guardrails that will protect consumers, because every one of these stablecoins will be backed up dollar for dollar with U.S. Treasuries. Very positive outcome here. We've got very strong support.
And then, of course, coming up late this year, just as big, the market structure bill approval.
Our next priority is market structure, determining what is a commodity and should be under the jurisdiction of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. What is a security and should fall under the jurisdiction of the Securities Exchange Commission. So market structure is going to be our next focus. We're going to begin that next week. And so we want there to be no interruption between stablecoins and market structure legislation as we continue to move.
So for 15 years of Bitcoin and crypto's existence, we had no clarity, yet Bitcoin price and crypto rose in spite of that. The largest financial market in the world for the first time ever, starting with Bitcoin in 2024 and crypto coming in 2025. Clarity, regulatory clarity for the first time ever. That's good for Bitcoin. That's also good for altcoins. Altcoin season will happen when Bitcoin passes all-time highs, the SEC allows Ethereum ETF staking, altcoin ETFs get approved, stablecoin inflows rise as stablecoins are the on-ramps. This will be big. The stablecoin bill will be big for this, as well as when the Fed lowers interest rates, signaling a macroeconomic shift. If any of your friends ever ask you, Austin, or whatever your name is, when is altcoin season? Send them this, or just say this. This is when altcoin season happens. Yet, of course, pro tip, smart money buys before the boom. Anybody that made it this far in today's video, click the like button to support me. I would really appreciate it. And comment down below your favorite bird, like the ones that fly, if you made it this far in today's video. And like always, see you tomorrow.